Hey guys, welcome back. As promised, I have finished kind of defining all of my milestones for the year. So we've gone through and looked at all of these different goals that we set. And I will know I have achieved this. So this is the goal just in short terms. This is the outcome that we want. This is kind of the plan to attain it and how we're going to look at things over the quarters. And then now we're going to define the inputs just for quarter one. So for quarter one, we are looking at this. So for quarter one, I need to unpack the apartment. So I've got stuff still in the office, bedroom, dining room. I don't have anything in the living room right now. I don't have anything in the bathrooms. And I do have some stuff in the kitchen. So in quarter one is 3 months. So let's take, let's do this one in weeks 1, 2, and let's do weeks 1 to 4 for this. Or no, 1 to 3. 2 weeks 1 to 3 for this. Weeks 4 to 6 for that. 7 to 9 and week 10 to 12. And then week 13, which is the last week in the, I'm going to just any scragglers is what I'm going to say. So I'm going to give myself a couple weeks for each of those areas. And then in that final week, anything that I may have missed, I'm going to pick back up. So if I don't finish the dining room in weeks 1 to 3, I'm not going to finish that. I'm going to move on to the office, move on to the kitchen, and then move on to the bedroom. And then week 13, I'll finish up whatever's not done. So that is the plan then for our quarter one. So for quarter one for the drone, I am going to do the first half, complete 1/2 of the Pilots Institute. So in order to do that, I am going to review the entire course. Schedule drone flights. And develop a study schedule. So when I took my drone pilot 107, part 107 course to get my license to be able to fly the drone, I used the Pilot Institute course. And I also got a course from them on how to fly my specific drone. So this will give me a good something to do in quarter one to achieve that. So for YouTube, I need to define my inputs. So my goal is to monetize and to have a Patreon. So I need to create a Patreon page. And in this instance, I'm just going to do a free membership so that anybody who wants to connect with the channel can connect with the channel for free. And so then we will add paid tiers later on. But for right now, I just need to create the Patreon page. I am going to make sure to have videos 4 times per week for the long form, and plus at least, so minimum of 1 short per week. And I think I want to take a thumbnail class because I think I need to get better at making thumbnails. And so, because I think that will help with gaining subscribers. I'm going to be good on watch hours. So this is 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours and Patreon. Those are my goals, right? That's what I want to achieve. And I think I can do that by creating the Patreon page and then continuing to have 4 videos per week. And those videos, I want those to be on, we have our Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I want to definitely have that schedule. And then the short, I do my washi selection short on the weekend. So that should get me to a good place, I think, in a week. Then we have got to increase my step count to 3,500. I am going to add in walk 5 minutes on pad before work. And then I want to walk 5 minutes. And I did figure this out on another piece of paper. So let me see where I've got that written down. Okay, I want to walk 5 minutes at 10 a.m., noon, and 2 p.m. And then walk 10 minutes after dinner. And then we're going to add 1 minute plus 1 per month to that, plus 1 per month to that, plus 1 per month to the, or 2 per month to that. Okay, so we're going to have January, February, March. This is 5, 6, 7. This one is, right? Is that right? I think so. And then we have 5, 6, 7, and then we have here 10, 12, 14. Okay. So that is the plan. So, in the beginning, I'm going to be walking basically a half an hour, and then I'm going to increase that by 2, 3, 4, by 6 minutes, I think, every day. Or by 6 minutes in a month. So half hour, and then it'll be 36 minutes, and then 42 minutes. Ideally, by the end of June, that means I'll be walking an hour a day. So that'll get me up to 5,000, I believe. in walking an hour. So these are intentional walking times. This is in addition to my normal walking. So I think that this will also help me by scheduling them at these times. It'll help me get up from the desk and move around a little bit. And so that should help on a lot of different fronts. So that should be good. Travel. You're going to put travel. I have a work trip and right now it looks like it's going to be January, February, March. So that'll be nice to have some work trips there. And then I'd like to see, we've been talking about taking the train out to Kansas City for a weekend. So maybe we do that in March. We'll see. Maybe the beginning of March. So that should be good. And then and plan Colorado if we want to do that. So right now we don't have plans, but I think I know a couple of weeks maybe that'll work. So that'll be good. Let's see. We're going to add input recipes. For the recipe book, for book. So I need to get all of the recipes in. So I'm thinking if I were to, let's see, there's 13 weeks. I'm going to count it as 12 weeks, right? So in this 12 weeks, if I can get 120 recipes in, that would be amazing. So let's add, so we're going to type 10 recipes per week. Now, what I had been doing was starting with a page, decorating the page, and then adding the recipes to it. What I think I'm going to do is just get all the recipes in as text blocks and not really worry about the style yet because that's what takes me a little bit of time is to figure out how I want it all to look. So if I can start just getting all of the information into the file and then I can organize it, that'll be really helpful. So if I can put in 10 recipes per week, that'll give me 120 recipes. Be a great start. Next up, we want to edit the vlog. So I want to create one vlog using existing videos by the end of the quarter. So I want to select the videos. And gosh, you know what? Right now I'm just going to put select videos because I really don't know all the pieces yet. I'm going to put a note here. Is there a course I could take? So I'm going to see if there's some kind of, I think I might have signed up for Kara, from Kara and Nate's course on how to edit a vlog. And so if that's the case, then maybe I could take that course and I can use that to create my first video. So I'm going to see if I can find that and do that. For the AREs, goodness, PCM test at week 6. Yikes, that's a quick PJM test at week 12. Okay, now pass to Aries. Okay, the Aries, for anyone who doesn't know, that's the architect registration exams, and those are very, very difficult tests. They are each supposed to be the equivalent of the bar. I studied before. I think 6 weeks or 5 weeks is a good study period. So in week 1, I'm going to define the schedule. And then I will take the test in week 6. And then I will in week 7 define the schedule for the next test. And I'll take that in week 12. These are very expensive tests. They're a couple $100 each to take. My employer will reimburse me if I pass, I believe. So, as I start to take them, hopefully I can roll that couple $100 into the next test. But this is going to be a pretty ambitious schedule for studying and taking those tests. But I think that it is worth it. I think I'm going to go ahead and do it. And just get those out of the way this year. I would love to say that 2026 is the year that I take them. And one of the things a lot of people said was just start taking them. So, go in and get that first test under your belt, and don't spend, months and months and months studying. So if I have a month and a half, that should be good. I should be good to study. Yikes. Okay. But that is my schedule. Okay. That's a lot. Let's see. In the first quarter here, we have our Roth. This is the Roth IRA. I have a 401k with work, but when I have extra money, so if I'm working consistently, I am always putting aside extra money into a Roth because I was late to the game in my retirement planning, and so I am playing catch up. So if you are younger, do not be like me. Start getting money into your retirement accounts as soon as you can. So I want 2025 Roth contributions to be at 8,000 by 4/15 26, and then 2026 will be at 600 by the end of the quarter. Right? It seems right. Okay. Now, I need to look at this because I did figure out that I need to add $410 per pay period, but I want to look at that with regard to, I want to figure out how many pay periods I have to achieve this 8,000, because I feel like I might have under measured here, and I want to make sure that I hit it. So you're going to look at this right here. And my first check is going to be here. So I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, never mind. I haven't mismeasured because April is here. So I don't even have to write this by 4:15 because the quarter is going to be over before that. So I'm going to be at my 8,000 and I'll have 6,000 towards the next year. So that is perfect. So in order to do that, all I have to do is contribute 410 per check to my Roth, and I will hit that metric. And I don't have to do anything else. That is fine. And for debts, this one I am not working on in quarter one. So I've decided that that's going to come from paying down extra to any debts like my student loans and that Georgia property and stuff like that is going to come from any money that I make from YouTube. So until I'm making some money, I'm not going to worry about that. The Atlantis novel, I need to finish midsection. Now I know what this means. And I think what I can do here is write if I write 5,000 words per week. Actually, let's write 4,000 words per week. That feels pretty doable. Okay, we're going to write 3,500 words per week. And if I can do that during quarter one, I should make myself a pretty good chunk of the way through that midsection. So let's see, let's go 3,500 times 12. Now you'll notice I'm often saying 12 instead of 13 because week 13 is going to be my kind of reset week. That is something that I learned from Joshua Corin. So in the 13th week of the quarter, I'm going to kind of pause and reflect and see how things went and plan for the next quarter and kind of wrap up any loose ends, any little things that didn't necessarily get done. So I don't want to plan for that week. So we're going to go 3,500 times 12. That is 42,000 words. That adds a lot of words to my story. That's not quite nano, so I'm not trying to do anything crazy because I'm going to be studying for the AREs. I'm going to be learning how to use my drone. I'm going to be organizing the apartment. Like, I don't want any of these things to feel overwhelming. And so, if I type in 10 recipes per week, I can do that maybe on one day. I don't necessarily have to touch that every single day. I could write 3,500 words in one day, one sitting if I get on a roll, or I could maybe, divide that up and just do 500 words a day. But that feels a lot more doable. So let's do that. And then on the read 9 books. The beginning of the year, when it's snowy out, I tend to not want to go anywhere. So I do read books to and from work. So I'm going to complete my audiobooks. I have 5 mythology books. And I want to complete those. And then 4 physical or Kindle books. That seems reasonable. The audiobooks happen naturally on my way to and from work. So that'll be really, really easy to hit. And that means I only have to read 4 like physical books where I'm sitting and I can't be doing anything else other than reading. All of that seems reasonably doable with the exception of this one. This one feels really hard to me. And this one kind of feels ambiguous because I don't really exactly know how to do that yet. So that feels challenging. Uh, Everything else, I think, feels very, very doable. I think I can easily fit this into my schedule. We're about to find out. So the next page of this is to refine inputs for the quarter. And so at the end of quarter one, when I get to that 13th week, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I tried this, and look at here, what did I actually do? And did that work or not work? What did or didn't work? And what am I going to try for the next quarter to do differently? Some of these I may decide I'm not going to continue to pursue it, and that will be a DNF. And or it might be a it might be something that I completed. If I completed my task for the quarter, yay me, we are good to go. So we're gonna work on quarter one here now. So what I want to do is I want to look at quarter one. I'm going to look at, these are the next pages. We have quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, and quarter four. Okay, I want to look at the quarter as a whole. So I'm going to take, this plan looks doable to me, but wait until we look at what happens in quarter one to see what this quarter really looks like. So what I want you to do with these, and this is going to be, it's going to feel like a lot, but I think that it is easily doable. We are going to look at quarter one as a whole and look at what needs to happen in this quarter for these goals, but also for regular life obligations. So I work Monday through Friday. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this green color here, and that is going to happen every week. I work Monday through Friday, except that is not going to happen here, right? Oops. Because that is actually, that is not going to happen here. It is going to happen here. So I need to define my quarter. That's going to be my first thing that I need to do. I'm going to write in all the dates. So this is going to be, this is December. We have got 20, 29, 30, 31. And then this is going to be January. 1, 2, 3, 4. 12, 13, 14. I was going to date these ahead of time for you, but in case you want to use these again, or for, if you want to define your weeks differently, I didn't want to limit you to using my dates. Or maybe you don't even want to put the dates in. Maybe you can figure things out without the dates in. I tried doing that, and I have already whited out twice, just putting one line in. So I'm going to say that's not going to work real well for me. Okay, January has 31 days. And this is February. This does not have to be a neat thing. February has 28 days, so we're at March. This can go ahead and be sloppy. This is a working document. This is why we're not doing it in our planner, because we're okay with it being sloppy. So whatever works for you. And I'm just gonna get, now I'll tell you, I have already done this elsewhere in an old planner on some planner pages. So I kind of know what this looks like, because I didn't want to come to you guys brand new, kind of figuring it all out. I wanted to make sure that this would be something that would be useful. So there we go. I'm going to kind of darken this line here around March. Darken this line so that I know when the months are. I actually really do prefer kind of this quarterly planning versus monthly planning, because the month, I agree with Joshi Corin in this, that the month starts here on Thursday. So if I've got something that I do every day of the week, then I don't do that on that day, and that's kind of different. So I'm going to take, I think we did, okay, so this is going to be my work color. So I'm going to draw a line like that for work. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw a line through the top of every Monday through Friday, because I work all of those days, right? I don't have another paid vacation day other than this day right here. So I'm going to work every single one of these days. It's already looking like a big chunk of my calendar, right? Dedicated to work, which is fine, but it's also one of the reasons why I can't, necessarily finish a novel in and amongst my work schedule. I originally used this color here, this blue, to indicate holiday paid holidays. And right now we said the only one is this one. So next Thursday, which is fine. I also took this color. I'm going to take this color and I'm going to put in a line here on Tuesday. That is every single week on Tuesday. This is date night. So now you can see I've got work all day and I've got a date night, right? That's quite a lot. I'm going to take this color and just note paydays. So that is paydays. Right. Now, this I've got as my color for items with my partner. So we also have on March 18th, this is we have a birthday. On the 24th, I have on the calendar that we are going to an ice carnival. Okay. So we're starting to build quite a bit. Now, I'm going to take my orange pen and I'm going to put in all of those, and that is my conversations with my friend Kim. We are not scheduled to talk this day, but we might. We'll see. So those are our phone conversations. Obviously, if this is his birthday, then I'm going to take that day off. We will not talk that day. Now I want to put in trips. I'm going to go ahead and use, this is going to be my conversations with friends kind of thing, or friends and family. And then this color. So let's see. I put in these colors so that I know what I'm doing here. Okay, so this color is going to be friends and family. This will be travel. Okay, so now I know that in this week, and I don't know when, but in this week, probably this week, and likely this week. That's unfortunate. So that'll be my reset week, but that's probably when it's going to happen. I am probably going to have to go to Florida. I know I'm going this week. I don't know what days yet. Probably this week. Okay. So as you can see, my schedule, I haven't put anything yet from this on here, on this schedule yet. It's already starting to get pretty full. So let's see. We said you're going to do, this is going to be book 1. This will be book 2. This will be book 3. This will be book 4. So 3 weeks to read a book. That's plenty of time. I'll be good with that. Then I'm going to have a little we're going to put in here, we've got 10 recipes. And I'm writing this every single time because I want to see what it, what it adds up to, right? So even though I know it's going to be the same, this is going to be PCM test. Right. So this is practice management. This is project management. All right. This is going to be, we're going to walk here. 5, 5, 5, 5, and 10. Same with, we're going to do that all the way till I like this better. Let's refine that. See, this gives me, we're going to do that for the first, instead of 3 months, instead of the first month, we're going to do it for the first 4 weeks, right? Then we'll go, we're going to walk 6, 6, 6, 6, 12. So we're starting to build up here. 6, 6, 6, 6, 12. And then here we'll walk 7, 7, 7, 7, 14. And I know what this means. So I know it looks like a long number, but it means that I'm going to walk 7 minutes in the morning, 7, 7, 7 at 10, noon, 2, and then 14 after dinner. And so and I will keep that up this week. Right? So the walking I still want to do in that reset week. So I'm still putting that there. Again, this is the reset week. I'm going to be traveling probably, but this is the week I will finish up whatever I haven't done. So this is 410 Roth and not there. 410 Roth. So as you can see, now I'm starting to get things actually on a calendar. We're starting to see what it looks like with my regular life. So if I'm going to test, let's see, this week, I probably want to do it on Thursday, right? So, and then maybe take Friday off. So let's put this test here. And then when is my next one? This one, I don't want to test right after the day after his birthday. So maybe we move that and we test on, do I want to do that? I don't want to have to be studying. So let's test on this day. Right, and maybe I'll test during the day. Well, both times I'm going to have to test during the day. The testing center is only open during the day, so I'm going to have to, plan around that for work. So we'll put those tests there. Let's see. Maybe that would mean this would be a good weekend, right? So we were looking at maybe doing a Kansas City trip. So what if we did that? What if we did that this weekend? Because then that's leading into, because we said March. I don't think I want to go in April or in, I'm sorry, in I don't think I want to go in February because it's just going to be too cold. And I don't really love cold. So maybe we can go this weekend, just do an overnight, see Kansas City. Okay, what else don't we have? Unpack the apartment. So I'm going to do see, where do I want to do this? I'm going to start doing some things here on Saturday, but I want to start putting in YouTube videos because we know when we have to do those, right? So let's put this. Let's do red, and these are the days when I need a YouTube video. And let's do a circle for the days when I need a YouTube short. Okay. So we said that we want one Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. So let's get that all the way down here. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to make it on that day, but I need to have a video made for that day. So I have found that my channel just does better if I have at least a video on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. So we're going to try really, really hard to stick to that schedule. But it does take some time to create these videos. They don't just pop out up out of thin air. And then we will circle each of these days for a short. The washi selection is a fairly easy short for me to do, mainly just prepping all the description and everything. That's the hardest part of that. But if I can get on some kind of system where I can get things done maybe the week ahead of time, all of the descriptions and everything written, that would be great. So maybe we'll work on getting that planned. But there is YouTube. So now I've got this in, and then I'm going to take this gray color here, and we're going to put unpacking. And I'm going to turn this on its side again. So we have got weeks 1 through 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, and then ideally we'll be done because that last one is not going to be too much. So this is going to be unpack office, or wait, unpack dining room. Unpack office. Unpack kitchen. And unpack bedroom. All right, there we go. So that is I'll plan to do maybe an hour of unpacking on Saturday, maybe right when I get up. That should, I don't have that much unpacking to do. So if I do a little bit each Saturday, that should get me done. So we've got all that. In this first week, I need to create a Patreon. And maybe we will do that on the 1st. Okay. So that's a YouTube thing. So we've got all of our YouTube things on there. We've got our steps. We've got our travel in there. I will start planning for Colorado. So I'm putting here that I'm going to do, okay, I'm going to confirm the time that we want to go. I'm going to schedule the hotel and the airlines and the car rental, get those kind of things, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do when we get there in the next quarter. And then we will go in the 3rd quarter. So I've got that. Input for recipe book, I've got that. The vlogging, I don't know what I'm going to do yet with that. I have the ARE tests scheduled. So I have the Roth contributions on there. I'm not doing anything here again in this quarter. And then in the writing, I don't know when that's going to happen. I do have my books here. So let's see. Writing, we have got 3,500 words. Novel. To the novel. So let's put novel 3,500 words. That sounds better. So I'm going to put that in on every single week. You can see my I deliberately left these spaces fairly small because otherwise we have a tendency to think that we can plan a whole heck of a lot into our time. And you can see right now that I am really pushing it into what I can fit on here. And we will add them in on this. Well, actually, we'll not put anything in on this week because, again, we're going to mark this as reset week. So this is the week that we reflect on everything and we plan the following quarter. So that takes some time, as you can see, where you're doing this right now. I'm going to have to do all of this again next quarter for quarter 2, and so that's gonna take some time. So I want to make sure that I can go through this whole process again next quarter, and that I've left myself time to do that. Okay, so now we've got finishing the midsection of the novel ready to go, and now I'm gonna put in, I think, let's see. What if we do a yellow? We're going to use this kind of highlighter yellow almost to put in study time. So what if I do a block of study time on Monday and Thursday? Obviously not on a test day. And Saturday and Sunday. All right, so those are going to be my study days in the week. So I'll study a little bit on each on the weekends, and I'll study on Monday and Tuesdays, or Monday and Thursdays. Tuesday is date night. That's pretty well booked. I mean, I really don't have a lot of time to add anything into that day. So this is our study for the Aries. What if we take this color now, this purple here, and got to figure out when we're going to write. So let's say Mondays I'm kind of tired. So I'm going to write on Thursday and Saturday. Thursday and Saturday, we will add in, this is going to be writing. And then let's get this kind of bright pink here. And that is going to be our recipe input. So I'm going to put that on Monday. And then, okay. So Monday we have recipe. So every Monday I will input 10 recipes into the file. And that should be pretty easy to do. I can divide up my recipes and get that ready to go. So we've got that going. We've got what days we're going to write, what days we're going to study. And then when am I going to do all of my filming? So I do, and I'm going to just use that same red that we already used. And I'm going to put a line here, and that is going to be film. So I know I film on Fridays. I always film on Sunday. And I'm probably going to need one other time during the week. And I've got so many other, so let's film here on Wednesdays. So now maybe I can film on Wednesday, kind of start filming for the next week or prepping for the next week. But that is going to be like when I'm going to film. So look at how busy my calendar now looks for the coming quarter. That is a lot of stuff going on, kind of all around here. I've got a lot to do. So I'm going to study 4 days a week. I'm going to write 2 days a week. I'm going to do recipes 1 day a week. Then I've got filming 3 days a week. Again, it all adds up. There's all these different moving pieces to a life. This doesn't leave a lot of room for unexpected things to happen. This is really, really structured, a really very structured first quarter. Now, I'm comfortable doing this in the first quarter because I don't necessarily have a lot of things I want to do in the winter. I tend to be a bit of a homebody in the winter, so I can use this time to kind of give myself a really strong start to the year and knock out a lot of these goals. Now, if I can get all of this stuff accomplished in this first quarter, I will be absolutely amazed and be having a great start to the year. So, that is definitely something that I need to kind of focus on and take into account. I also, let's see, I need to film on this day or post a video on that day. I have another video on that day and another video on that day. Those videos are my, so I need to film on this day as well. Those videos are my analytics check-ins. I check in on the first of every month. So um, those videos are important for that. So again, it's a busy, busy, busy time. So let's take that. I'm not going to do quarters 2 through 4 right now. I'm going to save those pages and we'll do those later. I'm going to take this quarter 1 and we're going to start looking at recording our inputs here. So this is where I'm going to look at these 12 goals and I'm going to figure out how I want to track things. So these are my 12 goals. So we're going to put actually, okay. These are my big goals. I want to go back to my inputs. Here we go. So unpack. That's my goal. So how do I want to track? So I'm going to put, this is how I'm going to record these inputs for this time. So I'm going to put that I'm going to unpack for 1 hour on Saturdays. That's what I need to do. So that should go on my weekly spread, I think. Or should I just put it in the tracker? Let's put it in the tracker. So for those of you who don't know, right now I'm trying to figure out where this lives in my book. So here's the plans by Just Scribble. This is the horizontal version. The goal setting and the quarterly pages are going to look kind of the same for these are going to look the same for all the books. So this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about the trackers. So I will put here for January that I am going to, in January, that ends here, I am going to unpack the dining room and the office. So I'll write that on the tracker there. And then I can check off that it's done for the week here and which day I did it, I'll mark off as well. But I'll put little dots on the Saturdays because those are the days that I think I'm going to do it. Okay, so that's that. I'm going to use it on the tracker and it's going to be a yes, I did it or no, I didn't. And it's going to be on Saturdays. Okay, so that is that. Let's look at our next input. This is the first half of the drone course. I didn't even put that on here, and I think that I might table that. I feel like that is less important for, let's see. Okay, drone, we're going to put PI course. And I'm just going to make a note here that I need to look at the course and define the schedule. Now I'm going to put a pink box around here because this is something that I have not yet figured out, and I want it to stand out to me that I need to figure that out. Okay. Let's see. On YouTube, I have not done a thumbnail or added in a thumbnail class, so I'm going to put that here. I'm going to put this on the tracker. This is YouTube videos. And I need, it's going to be a yes, no on the day, and I'm going to do it on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, and then Saturday is going to be a short. So 2 lines, 1 for long form, 1 for shorts. And then in the YouTube planner, it's going to focus on filming. Okay, that'll have my filming schedule. So I've already got 3 lines of the tracker. This is 1 line, this is 2 lines of the tracker filled in. I know what those are going to be. Let's see, steps. Okay, steps. Now on the tracker, we're going to put in 500 increments. No. What do we want to put in? Okay, this is going to be an amount, so I want it to be steps. And we've got, this line is going to be 1,000. Let's take away this. Let's take away the option to only do 1,000 steps. Let's go with, okay, if my step goal is 3,500, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that gives me 5 spaces on the tracker. And these are my numbers that we're going to try and hit this quarter. Now this is just for this quarter. Next quarter, I will go up higher. So next quarter, my minimum number of steps is going to go up to probably 3,000. So in Q2, we'll do maybe 3,000 to 5,000 instead, right? So that'll be a little bit different than this. But for this, that's fine. Then we have our travel. This is, we're going to do this on a daily page. We're going to plan Kansas City trip. And we're also going to do this on the monthly page. We're going to make a note. Plan Kansas City trip on daily page. Begin Colorado plans on daily page. Show travel dates on monthly. And the year calendar. So I think, so when I'm talking about that, let's see what that looks like, right? So we'll look in here. So one of the things is I will kind of highlight on the yearly page. So we will highlight on the yearly page when I'm traveling, but I'm not going to note anything here, right? So I'll highlight when I'm traveling, but that's it. I'll highlight here and maybe make a note of it here. And then on the monthly page, let's go to the beginning of a month. Let's look at January. On here, I will note when I'm traveling. So I will highlight those dates as well on here that I'm traveling once I know when those are. So that's how that ends up. Then we have recipe book. 10 per week. Okay, let's see. Where do I want this? I'm going to think about that a little bit more and see where I want that, because I don't know that that needs to be on the trackers. Although it could be. Yeah, I suppose let's put that as a tracker. So I either did it or I didn't. It's a yes, no. And what day are we going to input recipes? We decided those are going to happen on Mondays. So will just be one row of the tracker, and I will say yes, no, but I think I'm also gonna put in the number. On the YouTube videos, total count in the week column. Okay. All right. So again, you'll notice when I'm looking at what I'm putting in my planner, I'm putting in the inputs in my planner, because I don't right now, that is the main thing that I can focus on, is what I'm going to put in. So I've started with those. That's where I'm going to stop for right now. You get the idea. I will finish up the rest of them, the last 6 here. But then recording achievements. So this is really important too, because your planner should not only be a list of what you're doing, but then also help you remember what you've done. So for unpacking, my goal is to unpack, right? And so the milestones is the dining room at the end of week 3. It's the office week 6. The kitchen week 9, and bedroom week 10. Okay, now I need to unpack. My real reward is going to be having no more boxes in the house. So I don't necessarily know that I want a reward intermittently, like for each one of these things, but let's say the reward is you know what? I don't think I need a reward for this because I'm having so much trouble figuring out what a reward would be for that. So I don't think I need one. I think just doing the task will be reward enough. So I'm actually just going to put more space because that is a great reward. Now I'm going to complete, this is the drone. I don't know about this one yet. For YouTube, let's see. The achievements. See, Patreon to, let's say, 100 people. Then we've got 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours. And my reward is going to be apply for AdSense. So my reward is going to be a task. But that will have a monetary reward here. So these I will note with a box around the day. In my planner. So when I hit those metrics, I will, make a box around the day and then and celebrate the day in the planner on the monthly page. Okay, so that's where that's going to live. Now, let's see, steps. Okay, we're going to track everything. So I would like to, on one box of the calendar, with a sticker. Okay, so for those of you who didn't read as I was writing, on one box of the month at the end, I am going to get a sticker and note how many steps per day. So I've got the little step count that I'm going to keep track of here, probably at the bottom, right? And then, ooh, you know what? This could be, nope, on one box of the month, cover page. Note the average steps per day with a sticker and goal steps per day. Okay, so one of these boxes I've now accounted for on here. So if you're in the Just Scribble Planner, we have this cover page, and then I have a step count area there. So that's now telling me what one of those is going to be for the first quarter. Then we have got travel. And this I'm just going to, we get to go on the trip. That I will need, once I devise the trips, I will need a packing list. And I want to make it a printable. I have a packing list that I tend to work from, but I would like to turn it into a printable so that I can just print it out for that particular trip and stick it onto a page in the planner. That would be awesome. So I'm going to see about working on this. So this part is a maybe, but packing list for each trip. Something that I need in my planner, and that's usually on a daily page. All right. And then with the recipes, I'm going to reward myself if I make it through all the recipes. If I get all the recipes uploaded, I will treat myself to a nice dinner out. Okay. There's nothing, this is all on the computer. That's where it lives. But if I finish it and I say 90% complete, gets the reward. So I'm going to give myself a little leeway on that one, that 90%, I just need to complete it to 90%. Now that's just on the recipes one because that is not as important to my overall life. So I'm going to give myself a pass. If I hit 90%, I get to go out to a nice dinner. I'll take myself out for a nice dinner. And then we will look at the other goals very similar to the inputs. We'll finish those up. Something like, the Roth, again, the reward will be easy. That is, so my reward for the Roth is I may get to retire one day. That is not, I don't want to give myself a reward for that because that is my reward to myself, for doing all this work when I'm younger, is getting that retirement. So again, we're not focusing on this one at all here. And so I can also cross that off here, right? Goal number 10. We don't have anything there. And so you can see how this is shaping up now. Where am I going to track this? This is going to be on the notes page. This is in the back. I have done a one-page retirement spread. maybe let's make it 2 pages. I've done a 2-page retirement spread every single, or 1 page every single year. I think I'm going to do it to 2 pages now because I have a couple 401ks to keep track of. I need to keep track of my old one and now the new one. So I think that I want 2 pages for that. Also, I need a 2-page weight tracker for actually 1 page weight tracker, just to track my weight from week to week. I don't think I want to put that on the tracking page, but I need somewhere that I can put what my weight is and which direction it's headed. So I have a spread that I'm used to making for that. So I'll probably make that. And for water, where do I want to track that? Maybe I make that on the weekly page. We'll see. I want that to be somewhere that I'm going to pay attention to it every day. And I don't tend to live in the trackers until the end of the day, but I want it to be something I have open every day. So I do kind of have my, well, this is a horizontal week, but I do have my weekly pages open every day. And I also have the daily page open every day. So it's either going to live in one of those places, I think. And then maybe on a tracker line. Yes, no, if I hit my target. So we didn't talk about my water target, but I do need to have a target for that. So anyway, now you can see what all of these pages are. As you start to go through, this is going to start to define what that beginning is going to look like in your notebook. So that was part 2. Part 3, we're actually going to take this and we're going to start getting into, this is going to be my actual planner for 2026. And we are going to start putting some things in this planner now. We're going to take some of that information. We're going to be able to fill in our annual goals here and keep track of those. We're going to then be able to look at the quarter and kind of figure out what that metric looks like and get that figured out, put into here. Now, I do have kind of 12 goals and only 8 boxes. Now so I'm probably going to have to combine some things or skip something. And so I think what I will do is probably combine, in order to make 8 for our quarterly goals here, I think I'll probably combine, the Roth contributions and the reading of the books, because those are pretty small. They're goals that I already achieve all the time anyway. They're easy to combine. The recipes, maybe, adding to the recipe book, those kind of things that don't require a lot of space for me to write about what my goals are. And then the bigger goals, I will put those in individual boxes. So anyway, that is how I kind of went through that process to figure out what is even going in here. What are we even putting in here? And then, what lives on this page? What are we tracking here? In the past, I'll show you my existing tracker. So in the past, we have, let's look at this, right? And this is my existing tracker. So I do have travel days noted, and I probably will keep that because it is really interesting to me, like if I'm traveling in a particular week, to see what that does to things like my step count and all the other things. Um, I do tend to, I know it seems silly, but I do tend to track when I shower because I notice that, not that I need to be reminded to shower, but these are things that we do every week that we tend to kind of forget that we do. And so having that on my list has been sometimes helpful, but it's not important. So if I don't necessarily need to know when I shower, when I fold the laundry, when I ran the dishwasher, all of those kind of things. Home cooked dinner, I will probably leave that on there because one of the things about uh, weight loss is you do tend to do better if you are eating at home and not eating out so much. So that will probably be good. The hypnosis, I'll probably keep. In bed by 11 is important. Getting outside 30 minutes a day is also important. Here's how the YouTube videos will probably end up looking. So, some of this I'm already tracking in one way or another, but I don't just want to. What I've been doing is just kind of repeating the same thing. I don't necessarily want to do that if it's not serving me. If that's not something that that is really, really helpful. And especially now that I'm going to have significantly less space for that because I don't have a full page anymore, which I don't love. I really prefer having it this way. But I know that there are some people who just cannot be bothered to turn the book sideways and have complained. So I know why it changed, but I don't like that it changed. I would much rather have it be this day and have a full page. Anyway, that is not my decision. So we'll start figuring out what the important things are to track. And then if I have more room, then I will add in some of these things that are maybe less important, but that I might find interesting to track. So that is how that all is going to shake out into this planner, but we will do a separate planner setup video. So you can expect to see that coming soon after this. And again, I have all of these printables. I don't even know if I mentioned it in the first one, but I have all these printables for you. You can download them. I will put a link in the description for you to get all of this for yourself. So you can just follow along and write out all of your goals, figure out your year. And so hopefully you guys will enjoy those, and I will see you in the planner setup video. Thanks so much for joining me. Bye.